Welcome to Money Convos, where we discuss personal finance and investment tips. We're committed to helping people create wealth and achieve financial freedom. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Clubhouse, and Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube and podcast. All right then, let's head into today's conversation.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining. Adam, Mimi, Sarah, please just check your notifications. Yeah, great. Let me add Jenny too. Okay, great. Charlie, Adam, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm good. How are you also doing?
Nice. Oh, Charlie, hanging in here. Weather getting colder, but Charlie, how good do I?
It's getting hotter here. Like
literally and
economically. Yeah, economically too.
Oh, wow, powerful. Sarah, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Good, thank you. How about you? In fact, I agree with Adam. It's getting hotter here, literally and figuratively.
Wow, Charlie, it's Ghana. Anyway, today we have a topic that I see someone in the audience has been asking me about. So hopefully I can answer her questions. Let me see who else haven't I checked up on. Mimi, Jenny. Mimi, how you doing?
Hello, welcome. Hello, everyone. Not feeling too good, but we are alive. Hi, everyone.
Mimi.
Yeah. Jennifer.
Like, is there a bang in the oven?
Please. That's the same question that Kem asked me. I beg. Don't even say it for it to even try to happen. I beg.
When I asked Mimi, she was like, I was like, is that number 3? She's like, number 5. And I was like, Mimi, be careful what you say before it comes as triplets. For you to anyway, interesting. Jenny, speaking of which, how are you? And is the economy affecting your dating prospects?
Yes, but I am good. I'm doing well. Good evening, everybody. I'm doing very well. I hope you are too, and yes. So it is really affecting my because people are not going out so much now. I think people are waiting for the Christmas jams. Like, so now they are not going out so much. So you don't find people outside. We are all inside. So yeah.
Wow. Hey, they are waiting for Christmas jams, Charlie. This Christmas in Ghana, it will be crazy. Because if what you are saying is true, that means people are really following our 91 days to Christmas challenge. You understand?
Yes, and
that's one way to.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one way to look at it. I hope that's the reality. The other way to look at it too is really that it really cast, and that this Christmas it will be very slow. Jenny, do you see that possibility?
I think that it will happen because so the content granted was too expensive. The gate fee wasn't too expensive. I think it was packed. That's what makes me think that people are so jealous. People are so looking to do there. But yeah, of course, with the Christmas. Maybe I'll go and find the best.
Oh, Jenny, interesting. Okay, so while we wait for other people to join to be able to hear this interesting conversation, Adam, are you in a position to remind us about the 91-day challenge before we start today's conversation? Adam, are you there?
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, yeah. So the 91-day Christmas challenge, the savings challenge, is basically just for us to be able to save towards Christmas chilling so that we do not spend outside of our budget. So we set out with a target, which is about a little over 4,000 Cedis, and each day we are setting aside an amount of money. And I think today is day 56, so we are supposed to set aside 56 Ghana Cedis, and I think total we should have saved up about 1,500, and I've forgotten the exact. I'm trying to pull it out. The exact figure that we should have gotten. Yes, that's 1,596 Ghana cedis. If you have been faithfully participating so far. If not, you can also plug in at any time and then just have whatever target which you think fits your circumstance, so that come December you can chill without guilt, and also make sure that you are not spending outside of your budget. So basically that is what it is concerning the 91 days to Christmas.
That's great. Chill without guilt. Regardless of what the dollar is doing to you, you need to save something. You're already, if you are looking at this quarter, we are already halfway towards Christmas, so you need to make sure that you're putting yourself in a good position to manage the situation. Okay, so let's get into today's conversation. We said we were discussing what's trending, and Money Convos our silence has been very loud on a certain topic, on certain aspects of the economic hardship going on in Ghana. There's the T-bill brouhaha, which we think, not all the details are out yet, so we wouldn't want to get into that too much. But then there's also the dollar matter. That's the cedi depreciating against the dollar, which is drastically affecting people's earning capacities and purchasing power. Yeah, that's the better word, purchasing power. And I saw an article that just got me, that just hit the spot for me. And the title of the article is, "Buying a dollar is not a way of investing. You are killing the country." And this is comments made by someone I know through Mimi. We were both on Mimi's Access Money show some months ago, and I personally agree. Let me just buzz the whole conversation right now. In fact, now I'll try and be a fair judge. This one, the referees come to play the match, but I'll hold off for now. But I think it's a conversation for us to have, because people are thinking about this. People are hearing about what's going on with it. They are seeing and feeling what's going on with the dollar and the prices of items. And so they are wondering what they should do. Should they just convert all their cedis into dollars so that they wouldn't lose value? Yeah, there may be a case for it, and there's also a case against it. So we are here to discuss both sides of the issue so that our audience can hear all perspectives and then make a decision. This is in no way going to be financial advice. Before you take any financial decisions, you should have a conversation with a financial advisor who can consider your personal situation before you make a decision. So, without much ado, let me start and ask, who is on what side? Which side of the debate are you? In fact, I'll change the title to reflect the debate. But the debate is buying the dollar is killing the economy. Are you for or against the motion?
Can we do both?
Hey, man is trying to play safe. Okay, you can do both. You can do both. Okay, I hear you.
Ellie,
right.
So
yes, Jenny.
I have so I think we could do buying a dollar is not a suitable way or appropriate way of investing, because if you do killing the economy, I think it will be a little as to who are.
Jennifer, I think it is killing the economy.
Yes.
I am struggling for the fact that it is killing the economy.
Mm-hmm.
No, that can be a point for the people who are saying it's not a good. But if you say it is killing the, then the people who have, I think they will be boxed.
They
are not being patriotic.
So, Jenny, I get what you are saying, but that's so what you are saying right now could come as a point either for or against the motion. I get that it seems to be biasing the conversation, but it's an unpopular opinion, and that's why we want to introduce this from the unpopular opinion point of view. And I don't think we should take it necessarily from an investment position, because people are not only doing this for investment purposes. People are also doing it for transactional purposes and all that. So investing purpose may squeeze it too small into a tiny box. Do you get what I'm saying?
But I think it's that one they were going to like the people that are just to hold it and get. They're the ones you are talking about, or anybody who's $100.
Yeah, we are talking about just buying the dollar. It's not about what you are going to use it for. It's about buying the dollar.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. So, Jenny, while we are at it, which side are you on?
Please go. I was straddling the fence.
Jenny sounds guilty.
Okay.
I was straddling the fence, but I felt like please go and come.
I should go and come. Okay. All right. Okay. No problem. Mimi, how about you?
I'm in the middle. Yeah.
No, Mimi, this sounds like you want to be politically correct.
Oh no, like I've honestly, as an individual myself, it's something that I've honestly been concerned about, and I've thought about both sides, and I've come to the okay. Let me not say too much. So I'll
Okay,
just say in the
we'll
middle,
get.
and yeah, I'll
Okay.
explain why as time
Okay.
goes. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Great. Sarah, how about you? I think you've said it, but let's hear it emphatically.
Please. Yes, I think we have made my position known. I agree that those buying it, especially in these times, based on the speculation and all that, those buying it are not being patriotic. They are killing the economy.
Interesting. They are not being patriotic. Okay. All right. So I've changed the title to reflect this. This is going to be an interesting conversation, and I hope we can hear all sides of it. And it's interesting how Edem, Jennifer, Mimi are in the middle. For me, I'm on Sayram's side. I am against the motion. But let me issue a disclaimer, and I'll keep reminding you of this disclaimer. Sayram hinted at something like this. Currently, I'm in the US. You understand? So when you hear that I've converted Cedi to dollar, please understand that it's out of necessity. You see, I have bills to pay, and I left money in Ghana, and I've already lost half of that value. So I have to take what I can salvage and then pay my rent and things. Okay. So I've issued a disclaimer. All right. My first question, though, is how did we get to this situation? Even before we look at the debate, how does foreign exchange work? How does an FX rate work? Can anyone explain it in a simple, not so technical way? Would anyone like to hazard a go at it? Say, Ram?
Hi. Okay. In simple terms, how did we get? I feel it boils down from the top. Ghana as a nation is import driven, meaning
Oh,
that
no, Sarah, I'm sorry to pause you. The first step is what is an exchange rate? When we say exchange rate, what really are we talking about?
okay, so basically how much of one currency you need to get to be able to purchase another currency. So case in point in Ghana, as it stands now, we are talking about how much cedis you need to be able to purchase a unit of $1. So now the exchange rate I've told is around 15 cedis. So it means that you need 15 cedis to be able to get or equivalent to $1. Does that help?
Yes. Thank you. And on a normal day, when would why would somebody want to? Why would somebody need dollars? We are here in Ghana, we spend cedis, so why would someone need dollars?
Oh, okay. So first of all, that's why Ghana unfortunately is import driven. So we find that most people bring most of the things we use in this country are from outside. So most people, and these things are done in dollars. So people would want to buy these dollars to go and bring their goods from outside into Ghana. That's one. In terms certain we use oil, crude. We import crude oil as a nation. So we need to change dollars to go and buy this crude. Ghana as a nation has also borrowed money from foreigners, foreign investors. Again, if we've borrowed money from these foreign investors, when we are paying them, we have to pay them also in dollars. So we need dollars to go and buy to go and pay these people that we have borrowed money from. So business, some people too, we are in Ghana, but some people are paying their school fees, their rent in dollars. How do they get the dollars? They have to go, and once they are not earning, some of these people are not earning, they are not being paid dollar salaries. So what they have to do is to go and change money into dollars, because they have Cedis. They have to change money into dollars to be able to pay these bills, to pay their rent, to pay their bougie school fees and whatnot. So those are some of the reasons why we would need the dollar.
Okay, great. So these are the reasons why people would need dollars for transactions, for imports, paying school fees. Now that paying school fees part, we'll get there. So now, what caused anyone apart from Sayram? Let's say Jenny. What caused our cedi to depreciate so badly against the dollar?
Okay, I like it on a memory lane.
Mm-hmm.
So, October 2020, things were going okay. We were recovering from COVID. Things looked, the outlook was not as blurry and all of that. Then the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning came to read the budget. When he came to read the budget, the investor public thought that they may not be able to, their debt sustainability was questioned. So that triggered the first round of sell-offs of the dollar-denominated bonds that the government has issued. So we know that the government has cedi-denominated bonds, and even bills, treasury bills are an example of that. And then they also have dollar ones called the euro bonds. So people were selling off those ones and even the cedi-denominated bonds to leave, mostly foreign investors. So that triggered the first part of the cedi depreciation. Then in February, things sort of stabilized a while. Then Russia-Ukraine war started as well. So when the Russian-Ukraine conflict began, there were a lot of people, when I say investor public, it's not only in Ghana, even foreign investors also decided that they wanted quote-unquote safe investments. And in Ghana, when you compare, let's say, a country like Ghana to a country like the US, you know that we are not equal. So people preferred safer investments like the US securities to countries like us, and we are called developing or emerging countries or markets. So that also triggered a round of sell-offs and then cedi depreciation. Now, the getting to like March thereabouts, the government, the Bank of Ghana decided to do some things, and then they were able to stabilize they got a lot of money, dollars in the system to be able to meet the demand for the dollars, people who wanted to buy it. So it stabilized for a while until the concerns about the government's ability to pay their debts resurfaced. Bear in mind, e-levy hadn't done as well as they wanted it to do. So people were wondering where we're going to be able to get the revenue to pay back our debts and all of that. So another around July, August, that was when it really, really became serious. So people started to sell off their government securities and then try to change it to dollars. Also, companies, let's say a company like MTN, will need to get dollars to, number one, pay their dividends. So when they issue dividends, they have, let's say, some investors that would like to get dollars and then take the money out. We call this repatriation. So, okay, not the dividend. The fact that you are taking the money out, you are repatriating the money. So, if these companies also demanded dollars, normal businesses, the fact that we are importing, as Sayram mentioned, they also needed dollars. And then there were the people too who were getting jittery that I think I should start buying dollars because to number one, conserve my purchasing power, to preserve my money, and so that I won't lose so much when I'm comparing my money to, like, when I'm converting my money to dollars. So that's demand also came up. So all of these things were pushing the dollar, the CD depreciation very well because we didn't have so much stash of dollars. When I say we, I mean the government. We didn't have so much stash somewhere that we were going to meet all of this demand. So the CD was depreciating very fast. But if you've realized, coming from late September, September coming to this time right now has been even worse. Sometimes even 3 times a day, like you see it changing and all of that. And this was because the uncertainty. So there are lots of uncertainties. We heard news from a news agency, Bloomberg, that the government may restructure their debts. Restructuring could take, according to the article, it could take 3 types. It could be an extension of the maturity, so that if they told you that this treasury bill will mature in 1 year, they can now come and tell you that we can't pay you in 1 year's time, so we are telling you that we'll pay you in 4 years' time. It could have also been that they were telling you that they'll cut your interest. So they were supposed to give you, let's say, 30%. They can come and tell you that now we'll give you 20 or we'll give you 15%. Or they could have even cut the principal that they were supposed to pay you back. So, for instance, I give the government 5,000 cedis that they will pay me back sometime. But then they will tell me that now we won't be able to give you back the 5,000. We'll give you back 3,000 when the time comes for us to pay you. Or it could have even been a combination of these 3, cutting your interest, cutting your principal, and extending it for like 5 years. So the government didn't come out to say anything to confirm nor deny. So there were lots of uncertainties going on. And then the IMF discussion too seemed to be going on and on and on and on. So people were starting to get jittery and buying, and because it was depreciating so fast, changing their monies, converting it into dollars so that at least they can preserve their value. And we are also getting to Christmas. And you know that as Ghana, we like importing, we like chilling and all of that. We would need to import stuff for Christmas. So that demand, as well as the speculation, as well as companies all looking for money and the whole economy looking for dollars at this point, is what has caused us to this level. The government got some dollars from loans and other things to be able to meet the demand, but it looks like the demand is still outstripping supply. So bad that even people are buying fake dollars on the black market. So the thing is really hot. Yeah, so that's what has brought us this far. If I left anything out, somebody could add it.
Yeah, I would also like to add some perspective, but a good narrative on the timeline since a year ago. I've to add some things to the timeline. I think what you'd realize is December, January, February, everything was all good until, was it 24th February when Russia invaded Ukraine, and then by all good I mean the CD against the dollar was very stable, and then Russia invaded Ukraine and the currency started running all over the place. Granted, our bad fundamentals, as somebody has said, has gotten us into this situation. But there's something that you can't ignore. That is the geopolitical concerns. The fact that Russia has invaded Ukraine and the sanctions are affecting supply chains, and there's a whole lot of uncertainty in the world. But as Warren Buffett says, it's when the tide goes down that you see those who are swimming naked, and apparently we are swimming naked, so we have been exposed. Okay, So this is where we are at. I think there are still some structural things. So if I should send the timeline back, like what Sayram said, about people importing and the people pricing things in dollars, I want to mention some of the things that have gotten us into this kind of problem, right? See, the dollar is about, the FX rate is about supply and demand. The more people want the dollar, the more valuable it will become. And as the dollar is more valuable, it goes against the cedi, so the cedi goes down. You see, so as more people are pricing things in dollars, as more people are selling houses, selling land, selling cars, selling everything in dollars, even people offering professional services that have nothing to do with the dollar, they are pegging everything to the dollar. What would happen? More demand for the dollar. You may say, "Oh, you are not even trading it. You are just using it as a reference price, and people can go and just give you the cedi equivalent." But you're already adding that volatility to your price, and it's only going to make things worse. All right. And then there are certain structural things that we could have done. I listened to a podcast recently. I think I'll share with Eden to paste the link here, where we could learn some lessons from countries like Chile. Do you know that in Mexico, the Mexican peso has actually appreciated against the dollar this year? And it's because of certain structures that they put in from an economic perspective. Things like exports promotion and import substitution. What do I mean by those? Instead of them, export promotion is like making sure that you're exporting a lot of stuff. So if it's Ghana, we export more cocoa. Instead of using the land for galamsey, we export more cocoa so that we can get dollars to come. We go and sell it abroad, and we get dollars to come into the economy. Then there's import substitution. All the things, the rice, the tomatoes, and all those things that we are importing, if we can substitute them with local things, buy made in Ghana items, then we won't have to convert our cedis to dollars. You see, to have to buy the dollar and cause our cedi to depreciate. So these are all structural things. And that then brings me to the part where I would say that, these things may seem like larger structural problems, but this is where I believe that the individual has a part to play in all this. And hence, my beginning of the part of I am for this motion that buying dollar is killing the economy. It's true that you could be acting in your own self-interest that, hey, what's going on with my money? I don't want my money to lose value, so I'll go and buy the dollar for whatever reason, whether to put it under your mattress or to put it or to buy your or to buy a dollar investment or something, right? But when you do that, you are causing the cedi to depreciate. So the same problem that you are complaining about, you are reinforcing that problem. It may look like, oh, yours is just $100 or some $200, but as you do it, people around you do it, because everyone is sitting around saying, hey, why should I wait for Kofi and Amma to go and do it? By the time they finish doing it, then the rates will be worse for me. So everybody will just rush in and go and do it now. As if that's not bad enough. There are people in the market also called speculators. So you are there, the banks are trading, everybody's buying and selling dollars. There are some people, they don't have proper transactional need of the dollars. They are not Wabosio kind people who have to go and get dollars to go and buy spare parts or to import or anything. They don't have real transactional use for the money, but they are seeing things and saying that, okay, people like to do. People in Ghana are so concerned that they are starting to buy dollars. That means the dollar will get worse. Then they will also start betting against the cedi. How do they do that? They buy the dollar with the expectation that when it goes high enough, then they sell it. Those kind of people are called speculative traders. So as you are having these kind of sentiments, you're having these kind of motives, you would be contributing to fuel their drive to take those steps against us. And they don't have any skin in the game. Whether Ghana goes up or it comes down, they don't care. So they are just there to make profits. But meanwhile, we are the ones here going to suffer for their actions, So that's part of my take on this. I'll let Sayram go, and then we hear some cases for against the motion. So Sayram, how about you? What would you like to add to support the motion?
Alikem, I think you have already supported the motion for the both of us. Because, as you rightly said, it boils down to demand and supply. Once people are rushing to buy the dollar, because if you want to invest in the dollar, invest in dollar assets. It doesn't mean change your CD and go and buy dollar. You can still invest in dollar in different forms, but changing the CD, as you rightly said, it builds the demand. And obviously, we are at a situation where we don't have enough of the dollars. So once everybody is still changing, and everyone is just changing, they are telling their family, and then is speculating, and then people who have no need for the dollar, and then it's just worsening our woes. So I think you already gave the points for the both of us. Those buying the dollars are rather killing the economy. In our own way, it may seem like, okay, mine is just $50 or mine is just $100, but $100 by 1 million people is a lot of money. Okay, so yeah, so let me just pause it on that. Thank you.
Thank you too. This just got me thinking. Adam, I think it would be nice for us to do a post after this that for and against, left and right, So I'm just noting down the points. Okay. Adam, would you like to go on the against the motion? You were on the fence, so maybe you can mention one point against the motion, and then we hear from Mimi.
Okay. I think a point that normally is raised for buying dollars is that, though, for example, under the current circumstances, I quite remember I was reading a tweet from a lady who, I think she runs a business here in Ghana, and she gets a lot of her things from suppliers in China also. And she said she had to literally beg her suppliers the last time she was purchasing, just to sort of like give her a discount. Meanwhile, she's been purchasing from them for quite a while, like for some years now, and she's not had any issues with them. But this time, they've not increased prices or anything. But just because of the way the cedi is depreciated, her prices have more than doubled. The price at which she's buying the things is more than doubled. So she had to sort of like beg for a discount. So in such a situation, people who run small businesses, people who run small kinds of shops or whatever it is that rely on things that they import, in the situation where there's all this chaos going on and there doesn't seem to be any end in sight, what do? Do they sit and say, probably because I want to help the cedi, so I will sit aloof and wait when your working capital is basically just dwindling just overnight? Okay, I think that was just last Thursday or so. I think that was the craziest of all the days, when we woke up in the morning at the dollar at 12 or something, by middle of the day was like 13, it hit 14, and like all over the place. For a business, somebody who runs a business like that, importing some of these small stuff, what does the person do? When the person gets the opportunity, buys it and keep it, because now you can't even say, oh, okay, I will be importing in a month's time. So you can't even tell what the rates will be. So in order to hedge against losses, other than that, you will see yourself running out of business. And we know businesses are really going through hard time right now. And honestly speaking, if you run a small business, I just don't know how you're going to go about it without trying to hedge your dollars here and there. Because if you sit down, you have, let's say $10,000 in January, probably you needed about probably like that's like let's say 70,000 cedis probably in January, and now you're looking at the same $10,000 going for about, let's say, 150,000 cedis. I mean, how will you be able to go around it? So for someone who is in that situation, you don't know how. It's like a chicken and egg situation. Which one comes first? Is it that we should then hold on to our cedis and be transacting like that, while the cedi is depreciating against the dollar, and when we need it to run our businesses, we can't afford? or we hedge and then be able to stay afloat in business while at the same time putting food on other people's table and all of that. So I feel it's not just an easy situation to just say that people, when you are buying the dollars, you are killing the economy. So for me, that is one strong argument for people who run these small businesses, for them to purchase and keep, because other than that, they will end up losing their businesses. And then the spiral effect of that is even worse for the economy. That's what I think.
Wow, that's a very powerful point you've made for people who run small businesses. Okay, all right. I could comment, but just as I didn't entertain comments for this side, I want us to hear both sides before we start commenting back and forth. So that's a very good point. I think there was even a sub point about how even if you don't change, other people will be changing and they will be benefiting. So we'll get to that in a sec. Mimi, how about you? What do you say against the motion?
I'm in the middle. The reason being that like
Oh,
I
no,
mentioned.
Mimi, to be clear, we know you're in the middle, but the part of you that is on the middle right, you know, what would be your case what would be your
I'll
case
tell
for
you
saying
why
that
I'm
it's
on
false?
the other, why I'm on
Eh,
one side and why I'm on the other side.
no,
Okay.
we want to hear one side for now, then we'll come back and hear the other side.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. 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 I may say non-fat things, but just allow me. So,
Okay.
I mean, advising during these times have been very tough for me, because you don't want to give the person an advice like, oh, mentor dollar, then their fund is just going down. It's like you've thrown bomb, you know. I think that for this to work, what you, Sarah, and everybody who is for emotion has said, we have to collectively decide that this is something that we are not going to do. If a few people are sacrificing and others are doing, as she said, we are going to lose out. Imagine someone who has sacrificed that they didn't go out, they didn't do this, they didn't do that, and they've managed to save some money, and they see the money depreciating daily. I think it's difficult, and as we know, human beings are emotional beings, and the first thing you can think of is how do I preserve the rest of my money, so that eventually when things are okay, I can change it back. So that's about self-preservation, thinking about myself. How can I preserve my funds? Some of these people are people who have retired and may not have the opportunity to save again. You understand? So this money they have is their all in all, and they can't just like sit down and watch it just become beans. Something that they have worked for in 30 years, 40 years. So I think that can be easy to say that, oh, let's not do this for our collective good. But if it were to be your money and if it were to be your situation, how would you tackle it? For me personally, I have had the temptation of, okay, do I go and take my money and buy dollars, maybe invest in Serum knows what. I've sat down. Honestly, one thing that has prevented me is the withdrawal process. The last time I withdrew from where I wanted to withdraw from, it was another wahala. I don't want to go through that stress. And then I'm thinking that I'm young. I'm in this for the long term. So what's the issue? I can just wait it out. And if I even want to invest in dollars, I can invest. Emphasis in dollars. I can what do you call it? How do I can change my portfolio and add something new to it rather than going to take money. There may be charges, I don't know. It may be, I don't know. And then a friend of mine also just brought up an issue which got me thinking twice, that how about, I mean, if money is pumped into the system and it goes the other way, then you realize that you are just timing the market, and so for me, I decided that I wasn't going to do it. But for others, that maybe this is their only money and they are not going to make any money at any point, I get why they are concerned. And it will be quite difficult for me to say that they shouldn't go ahead, even though it's hurting the general, like, if we will all decide, then that's where government has to come in with controls, right? To push us to act in a certain way. If we all decide, then fine. But if we are all going to be going crazy and a CD is going to be 40 cities, as somebody speculated in whatever time, then it's not going to help anybody. So, my 2 cents.
Wow, this is an angle I did not think about, Mimi. Well, I have thought about it, but not as articulated as you did. And it's about just to pick a few points from what you said. For what me and Sarah are suggesting to be true, that is for us to say that if we should, nobody should go and buy dollars so that the economy will be fine. For that to be true, there has to be a collective agreement. In the absence of such a collective agreement, who is going to take that risk to sit around and wait for their money to just be lost? Money that they've been sacrificing and saving for. I get you. These are very deep thoughts that we have over here. Interesting. Would anyone like to comment on any of the points that have been made already? Perhaps try to debunk any of the points before we invite more points? Or should we throw all the points down before we start debunking some?
Hi, Elikim.
I say,
Yes. Please ignore the choristers in my background.
Sure.
Please, I'll come back. Thank you.
Okay, all right. This time the chorister is singing very loudly. Okay, all right. What we will do now then is just to take a few more points, right? I have a question. In as much as I hear what Edem is saying about if you are a business person, now the question is, with the business people, we understand. But I dare say some of these business people, you may be running a small shop, but are you going to China to buy it? No, you are going to Makola to go and buy it. Do you buy your goods? Do you really need to buy dollars though? I see that your capital is eroding, so that there you may make a case and say it's sort of an investment or a cash investment that would yield you some money. But I have another option for another concern for you. Let's say you change this money and now crime increases, and someone comes, you take this money, you go and put it under your pillow, and armed robbers come. I'm not in Ghana, but I was talking to a friend recently, and he said there's increased police presence now. And I saw in the news a couple of weeks ago, they received new vehicles. There is that concern about civil unrest, about the general economy. And if people know that you are going to be converting money into dollars, someone is going to steal 1,000 cedis from you. No, in fact, 1,500 cedis from you. And it's just going to be one paper that the person will fold and put inside their socks. Then you can imagine that people will be walking out of people's homes with guns, but they are only holding a wallet full of $100 bills. So easy to rob you, or you hide it in your wallet, and then at one go, everything is gone. Granted, some people say, but you can put your money in the bank. I know that a lot of people who buy dollars are not so crazy about keeping money in the bank because of all the charges that come with it. You know, if you go and put money in the bank, some banks, they will charge you as much as 1 to 3% to withdraw dollar cash. You know, if you are doing a check or a bank transfer, fine, that may come at a lower cost. But, you know, if you want cash, it will come at a price. So people just avoid that entirely and just keep the dollar cash. You are exposing yourself to some risk, you know. So it's a thought that I think people are not given. And the armed robbers too, they are just waiting and waiting. So that, and even the pickpockets, they know that even if it's your wallet crack, they'll get some cool 2,000 cedis when they convert your dollars for you. Okay, so that's one point. That's for the motion. Does anyone have any points either for or against the motion before we start delving deep into them? Mimi, you had wanted to go either side. Then I know Jennifer also was straddling the fence. So we'll hear from Jenny also. So Mimi, you can go ahead with the other side.
Yeah, I think that you mentioned something that I asked my clients when they bring this dollar thing up. Where are you going to keep the money? I remember recently my mom was telling me about how a help, of theirs would just want to like clean certain areas, even if you ask her to, because not knowing she was stealing money. So where are you going to keep it? And someone said she was going to buy a safe. But how about if they carry the safe away? If it's not, especially those small ones. Or forgive me if I'm ignorant. Maybe there are some serious metals that no matter how small it is, you can still not carry it away. So my that's my question. Where are you going to keep it? And I was told that a certain bank charges $5 per month for current account, since now they are not opening savings account. And my question is, I remember I had a savings account with one bank, and I moved on from that bank. I moved to another bank, but I left some money there. I wasn't using Momo, I wasn't using anything, I wasn't using nothing. But I just gave it a few, was it a year, 2 years or something, and all the money was gone because of charges. So really, are we looking at the other risk factors involved before going ahead, with this decision? I still think that as people, we should diversify. I think that the high interest treasuries and what do you call it, government securities have made us lazy investors. And I think if not for anything, this situation has revealed that we need more than just buying treasuries and fixed deposits and just going to bed, so that is what this has taught us. And I hope that we get out of this. But for me, I'm just wondering, where are people keeping it? Is it safe? Is it worth it? Or are you better off just leaving it in an investment? Secondly, what if money is pumped into the economy and rates go down, especially if you are not doing this for the long term? You make a loss. So it's a tricky thing.
Wow. Maybe talked about a safe, some special metals. Maybe even ATM crap, someone can bring pick up and drag the ATM away to somewhere that they can take their time to open it. So safe, no, the back keys crap, they go sort them out real quick. Unless it's a huge bank vault. But the boys who I had, they'll sort it out. Don't worry, crap. These are interesting thoughts that are coming out. We need to think about the risks that are involved in taking such decisions. Maybe mentioned that she hopes we've learned the lesson, or it has shown us that we've been lazy investors. I don't think we've learned the lessons yet. No. In the developed countries, for you to get 5%, the risk that you have to take to get 5% on your investment, you have no choice but to appreciate investing and risk. Because if you don't want to take any risk, 0%, 0.5% on a good day, so it will take some time for the Ghanaian to learn that lesson because interest rates are still high. Okay, Jenny, how about you? You are straddling the fence. Do you want to say points for either side?
Right now, I want to say, and then I'll come back with a 4.
Okay, all right.
So, the title is "Buying Dollar is Killing the Economy," which is letting me think that that's the only thing killing the economy, or that's the main driver of our deteriorating economy. But I don't think that is the case. So,
Jenny, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think I don't want you to take it out of context. It's not the only thing. We are not saying it's the only thing. We are just trying to find out whether is it good or bad for the economy. You get what I'm saying?
You see, that's why I said that this is quite, because that means that we can do anything else apart from okay. So then, I'll take it from the angle of other let's say the supply aspect. The economy is run by the demand and supply. So let's say the cedi is depreciating is being influenced by the supply and demand. So we've been hammering on the demand aspect, but I want to also talk about the supply part. Currently, inflation in the US is quite high. So their treasury rates and all are also high. Now, Medicam just mentioned that you have to do at first you'd have had to do like very serious risk assessments and risk stuff to be able to get an interest rate about, let's say, 8%, 9%. So right now it is quite high. You don't need to do much to be able to get like 8%, 6% on a US Treasury security. So all the investors who could have even come here if we had that credibility would have gone there anyway right now. And dollar is the best performing currency currently in when it comes to developed markets. So I think it is on our government to try and get for instance, the import substitution stuff. There's a country in East Africa, I've forgotten the specific country, but the president was on a rampage on Twitter trying to. So he said that during alcoholic beverages, currently alcoholic beverages are coming up. You know that we are getting and all of that. So he had done something that he had put some investments in the alcohol industry in the country, so much that they had seen a slide in the amount of imports that they were doing there, and they had added value to some of their products, and so now it was getting a better exchange, like it was commanding more dollars back into the country. So I think that we should that's why I still want to talk about the economy aspect, because we should still be looking at other aspects of being able to generate foreign exchange, because the transactional need for money will still be there. I was in an investor call with a company and they were saying that they are really trying, like they even have to sometimes, if let's say you have a partner in South Africa and at first you'd have had to change to dollars and give it to the person. Now they're looking at giving the money into to the people in rand, but the inflation depreciation is rampant in the whole Africa. It's just that ours is what is quite high. So they too will be trying to protect their purchasing power, and they may not agree to the fact that you want to give them the money in their original currency. But companies are coming up with quite nice ways to try and not contribute to the Cedis depreciation. So I think that we should be working on the supply aspect and make sure that we are getting our supply up to par, so that whatever transactional need, and even we know that speculators are already always in an economy. They help with price discovery, which means that they help as they are buying and selling. We find the true value of a commodity, or let's say a security or a currency. So given us, they always be there, and we always have the transactional need. I think we should try either we prevent the monies from leaving us so much, or we try and increase the supply, and not say that people should stop transacting and like sort of fold their arms and wait for the axe to fall. Thank you.
Okay, Jenny, I hear what you are saying. However, I think what you are talking about is in response to a macroeconomic matter, government actions, big businesses actions. But the question here is, what should individuals do? So can you show us how your point is related to an individual's action? Like people are asking, should I buy dollar or not?
Okay, so I didn't know we were talking about. So should you buy dollar or not? In looking at you as an individual, I think you should. It is
okay. And remember the context of the title. You as an individual, if you are buying dollar, the motion is that if you are buying dollar as an individual, you are killing the economy. You are choking it with pins. That's the conversation we are having here. So when you put it in that context, what do you think?
You are killing the economy.
Okay. So, all right, I'll circle back to you while you give this some thought, and you can give us another answer or explain further. Thank you. All right, so we've said a bunch of things, and we are looking at this situation that is trending right now. The cedi is depreciating very fast against the dollar. I see even funny skits on social media about the one was a Nigerian man who has taken his bag and he's running away from Ghana. That even Nigeria is not this bad. I haven't seen the numbers for the Nigerian naira, so I can neither confirm nor deny that. But it was just funny. Right? At least, no matter how bad things are in Ghana, we still have a sense of humor. You gotta love that about the Ghanaian. Okay, so but yeah, we've been talking about what's trending, which is the dollar situation, and we are trying to find out whether individuals buying the dollar is killing the economy or not. You know, there are contributions for and against. So far, some of the things that we've heard for this motion is the fact that yes, it's all about supply and demand. As you buy more dollar, as you demand more dollar, you make the dollar more valuable while the cedi becomes less valuable. So you are harming the economy. As you also do this, you are encouraging speculators because if you go and do this, people will think, oh, then it's only going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. So that's the point that we are making, that you will be encouraging speculators. Another concern is, what about the risk of doing this? Where will you put the money when you buy the dollars? Are you going to keep it in a bank? If you keep it in a bank, they have some charges there. If you keep it as cash for yourself, then you are at risk of armed robbers coming to take the money from you. And a pickpocket can even just steal your wallet or your purse and walk away with 2,000, 3,000 because they just got $200 bills out of your pocket. So that's another concern. But on the other side of the debate, people who are against the motion are saying that, well, if I'm a small business owner or I'm a business person and I see that my working capital keeps eroding because I'm holding cedis, but I need to go and buy things which are pegged to the dollar, then I might as well just convert the money I have to dollars while I can, so that I don't lose money. You see, so that's one angle for business people. Another people are saying that no, they are sitting around waiting. Yes, you want to be patriotic and all that, but other people are converting their money and causing things to get worse. So why should I also sit around waiting for things to get worse? So they might as well change the money now. Also aligned with that is people who are saying that, well, there's so much uncertainty, and it looks like, look, money that I've worked so hard for, and I've saved and sacrificed. Now I'm going to lose it. No, I'd rather just convert my money now and keep it safe. And so people also see it as a point of safety, that with all the uncertainty going on, just convert your money to dollars so that you can have some peace of mind. That's the angle some people are taking. So we are trying to get all angles to this issue. Remember, again, this is not investment advice. This is not financial advice. We just want to look at it from all angles so that you have better perspective. Before you make a decision, you know the pros and cons of that decision you are going to make. And then you can talk to a financial advisor to speak specifically about your situation to know what to do. But at least it's better that you be informed. Yeah. Anyone else with any thoughts on this? And if you're in the audience, feel free to jump in here with your thoughts on this. We know that you may have reasons why you want to buy and sell, but we are looking at this in terms of an individual and the effects it's going to have on the economy. Mimi, you can go ahead.
This is a bit different. But I think that one thing we need to start looking at is our culture, and then the message as individuals we push. One thing I like about the Westerners is that they use psychology to change things. So don't come and stand in front of you and just make things obvious. They use psychology. So you don't even know that they are getting you to behave a certain way, but you are behaving that way. And how are we using that? I feel like there's too much negativity about Ghana, especially on social media, and it's making this problem worse, because if it's like Ghana is hell, everywhere else is better, you know and we are all looking at the US as, the land flowing with milk and honey. I haven't been there. I don't know if it is. Maybe Eli Kem can tell us if it's a problemless country. But I think that we, as individuals, yes, things are hard, but I feel like anytime we put a message out there, we are solidifying a certain impression people have about Ghana, and then further making the problem worse. And that's one thing I like about Nigerians. I don't know how their economy is, but I feel like they support their things. Regardless, they support their things. But Ghanaians, it seems like we just don't like anything Ghanaian we are not happy with. So we need to realize that yes, it's Twitter, yes, it's Facebook, yes, it's whatever, and we are just putting out information and we are all just laughing. We are all guilty. But you are conditioning certain people's minds. So in your own small way, how can you push hope if the president is not doing that? How are we encouraging ourselves? How are we calming down nerves? So people just calm down, And it could be you telling somebody and somebody telling somebody, just as it's one family member telling the others that Charlie, dollars. People are having these family meetings. People are calling their friend Jack, Ghana, CCR, and then we all agree that this is what we are doing. So how are we influencing each other to make things better rather than leaving all for the president who, for lack of, I don't even want to talk much, because I feel like part of this challenge is an issue with communication. And if communication were to be done well, not that it will be resolved, but it will have probably reduced the effect, of the issue. So that's my take.
Okay, all right. So the impression that we are carrying across can be affecting our economy even worse. So we need to. I remember some years ago when Seth Tekpe was the Minister of Finance, he said that talk up the economy, talk up the economy. So that's kind of just what me saying, just reminding me of that. Okay. All right, great. So we have some members of the audience who want to join in on the conversation. So we'll hear from Black Ninja first, and then we'll hear from Tough Guy. Okay, Black Ninja, go ahead.
Yeah, please, I want to speak about something. I have monitored the currency over the years since the redenomination from the 3 zeros to the single zero. That's the first digit, let's say 10, 20, 30. But the currency depreciation has been going up. And this is over 14, no, this is almost 16 years now. It has gone up. And from there, I've listened to both sides. But even though we've spoken here as it will never change. It will still be the same. I heard somebody talking about the US being the land of milk and honey. It is true, because I'm a health worker here. I'm suffering. When the depreciation goes against our currency, I am at the receiving end. I look at the salary and I see it as nothing for me. Whilst a colleague of mine doing the same work across the Atlantic is taking 10 times more than what I'm taking here. So me, I will see the place as milk and honey. So that is even attracting me to pack my keep importing rice, sugar. I will never see it coming down. That one, it is the gospel truth.
That's interesting. The cedi keeps depreciating against the dollar, and that is consistent. And that is actually quite, I think it's factual. So I'm looking at some data here, and Osiram is not here, but Jenny can also back me up on this, right? It is a fact, okay? And I'd like to look at it starting from something like inflation, right? Let me avoid getting too technical with the economics. So with the higher risk that we have, Ghana is a less developed country than a country like the US. So our risk premium will always be riskier than the US as long as we are less developed than them. And so you would see that people would favor the US over Ghana. All right. What happens is that when you are looking at the currency, because Ghana has more risk, we would, among other factors, we would be always consistently losing value in the FX, all right, in terms of how much our currency is compared to the dollar. However, what you'd observe is that investors in the US, when they come to Ghana, and they do come to Ghana to buy some of our investments in our currency, in our CD bonds. So they buy long-term bonds. The returns that we provide on our CD investments are usually high enough to compensate for the dollar, the CD's depreciation against the dollar, such that they would still be better off after losing that money. So this just to give you one feature about it being consistently depreciating. It is okay, and I think it will require certain structural changes for it to reverse. However, it's not so much about whether whether the CD depreciates every year, but it's also about the uncertainty, one, and two, the magnitude of the depreciation. In the 5 years to 2021, that's 2016 to 2021, the CD depreciated on the average 6.9% against the dollar. Now that's relatively low and stable. This year, it's doing 53 or so percent. That's way worse, right? If people have a good sense of how much the CD will be depreciating against the dollar consistently, there will be some certainty and we wouldn't have so much of a problem. You can plan for it. But the concern is when the magnitude is so high and you really can't plan for these things. That's when things get worse and it spirals. So I do get your concern, but I just wanted to share some more information about why it may not be entirely bad that the CD depreciates consistently. It's just the feature of our economies, right? Once we reverse the tide and we are able to produce more, import less, so you as an individual can also start thinking about what are your purchasing decisions. Personally, I know that everything boils down to the government, but really there isn't so much an individual can do about that, right? So we just need to ask ourselves, look in the mirror and ask, what can you do as an individual? So yeah, I do get your concerns. But though, I mean, the US, I can assure you, is not entirely milk and honey. There are some problems, but it's still better. And I know Mimi is looking at me from the side, but it's okay. Does anyone else want to comment on what Black Ninja said before we hear from Tough Guy? Okay, all right then. Let's hear from Tough Guy.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. So I want to start with a question. A lot of people trying to blame, the ordinary Ghanaians like myself, that we should stop buying the dollar. We should stop buying the dollar. You have the data. Do you think retail, like people like us, the volume of dollar we keep has that much impact as compared to the institutions, government and companies? Is the volume of dollar we keep, is it that huge as compared to the volume of dollar the institutions keep and they lift out of the country daily or annually, or even the volume of dollar the government itself transacts in? I don't think.
It's Tough Guy. If can you please come again on your question? I'm not sure I quite get it.
Okay. Basically, my question is the volume of dollar that the regular Ghanaian holds, that is retail purchases of dollar, as compared to institutional, that's corporate and government, the volume of dollar that they hold and transact in. Do you think the dollar that we hold always has much impact, has a lot of impact on the depreciation of our cedi against the dollar?
I get your question. I have an answer, but I think Jennifer would have a better answer. She has her finger more on the pulse than me currently. Okay, Jenny, so what are the balance of payments looking like, and how do the retail...
Let me answer that.
Okay, all right.
Let me just confirm that she can answer. From someone who doesn't have the data, I don't think the retail, somebody like myself, look how many Ghanaians have 5,000 cedis in their account to afford, let's say, $400. Very few Ghanaians can afford that volume of dollars. Those holding the dollars are the institutions. I work in insurance. And look, if you look at these foreign companies, Everything is in dollar. Their assets, everything. The dollar that they carry out every year. It's crazy. So for me, I think it's a strategy by government, by leadership, trying to push the blame on us, telling us that we as Ghanaians should stop buying the dollar. How many Ghanaians can afford 5,000 cedis worth of dollar? No, even $100. How many Ghanaians? There are very few. So, I mean, if you are trying to push the blame on us to make it feel as if it's a Ghanaian thing, I think it's a strategy, it's a conscious strategy, deliberate strategy by government to try
Am I the only one who can't hear?
this thing on us. For me, I think 100%.
Hi, tough guy. I think you broke off at a point. You were saying that you think it's a deliberate
Hello?
strategy by the government to make it seem like
Hello?
you are blaming individuals. Can you hear me? Okay, guys, am I the only one who can't hear who can't hear him or?
Hear you, but we can't hear him.
Okay, all right. Okay, let me mute him and let him come back. But Jenny, don't forget his question. We would circle back once we can confirm that he can hear. I don't want to give the response in his absence. Okay. Black Ninja, can you come up? You had your hand up again?
From what Tough Guy said, he is right, because only few Ghanaians, especially those at Okanshi, Abusokai, and those holding the oil marketing companies, they hold access to the dollars because of the kind of trade they do. It's up to the leadership to set up, because some of the people in government hold dollar accounts offshore and inshore, that is in the country and overseas. They must be put to order to trade off all their dollars. Others to hold dollars in crypto, sitting elsewhere, whilst they are telling some of the citizens to trade off all their dollars. Leadership by example. So if the leadership put themselves to order, the ordinary citizens to put themselves to order.
This is an interesting one. I hear you. Let's see. Tough guy, are you back? Can you unmute and try speaking again? Let's see if we have you. Okay, drop to the audience. Okay, don't worry. I think we'll just go ahead and answer the question. We have the gist of the question, the answer. I was really hoping that he could hear it live. But Jenny, what do you think about this? Even if you don't have the specific data, do you have a sense of it? I think anecdotally we could say something.
Okay, so I am leaning towards what Top Dog said. Mostly,
He's tough guy, you're not top dog.
I'm sorry. What Tough Guy says, because mostly we've realized that, especially around June, July, August, thereabouts, mostly was because of corporate demand. And getting to December too, we know that people who are buying, even if it is small businesses, they are part of the quote unquote business group. So it is mostly the demand of the dollar is propelled by the corporate.
Oh boy, have we lost Jennifer too? Adam, Mimi, can you hear Jennifer?
No, it looks like she's also gone off.
Hey, Charlie, I was going to correct Tough Guy to say that no, there's no conspiracy theory here, but the way as people start speaking for a certain point, they go quiet.
Crazy.
some way. And well, while we wait to make sure that we can hear Jennifer and Tough Guy, well, today's conversation I knew would have people taking either side, and today we strongly encourage opposing views because we want to make sure that people are getting sufficient perspective to make their decisions. We are not going to end up at a conclusion to say this is what you should do, that's what you should do. No, we don't want to give any advice. But Tough Guy, just a second, okay? Yeah, we don't want to give any advice, but we just want to expose and let people have a better understanding of situation. So feel free to come up with a dissenting view, and we will hear you out and properly discuss it. So Jenny, I hear you are back, right?
Oh, you lost me. Please, what did you lose?
We lost you. So you were saying you were getting aligned with you were aligning with what Tough Guy was saying. Then we lost you.
Quite early on in my
Yes.
so forgive me, my internet. So I was saying that I'm aligning with what Tough Guy said, because we realized that especially around June, July, August, that very serious depreciation around like Q2, Q3. It was because of serious corporate demand. Most of them wanted to send money to either their parents' companies or import staff or a plethora of other stuff. Reasons why they wanted to buy dollars. And right now, from here going on to December, it will mostly be corporate. And I was saying that even if it is a one-man business and she's importing, or he or she is importing for the business, we could still classify it as a business quote unquote demand. So then, that is still higher than retail, but still retail people are quite doing things. They are making waves, because I know somebody who went to change her money to $50. So she went to change some. I think then it was 10 cedis to $1. Yes. So she went to change and then she got $50 just so that she has dollars. Do you understand? So if like I think $50 those times a lot of people could have afforded it. So if everybody is deciding to do this, then it will still make waves, but not as much as corporate demand. Thank you.
I get you. Thank you, Jenny. So retail demand, that's individuals looking for the money, compared to the corporates. We are just tiny, $50 here and there, just small money. Like Tough Guy was saying, how many people have $5,000? And let's say that $5,000 at the beginning of the year, before things tanked, that would have been $1,000. Now that is, let me not go there. You get the idea. So yes, it does. It was a question that was making a point, right? I hear your question, and then Black Ninja also stepped in to offer some backing. Again, dissenting. We are encouraging dissenting views for this. Let people have a holistic picture, and also part of it is also venting. But permit me to make an unpopular comment, and I know it's being recorded, but permit me to make an unpopular comment. Edem, are you there? You've gone silent too. Okay. Edem did mention to me that he may be busy today, but
I'm available. Sorry, I was trying to unmute.
Okay, I've realized that you've gone quiet, but I'll rope you back into the conversation in a bit. I want to make an unpopular comment, and that is, I hear Black Ninja, I hear Tough Guy, and I issued this disclaimer. Currently, I'm in the US right now, pursuing my education, and I left my money in Ghana, and I've lost more than half of the value. Assets now. Okay, and I still need to pay rent. I still need to pay a lot of expenses. I'm sorry, a little housekeeping. Tough Guy, please mute. I'll unmute you when it's time to speak. Okay, so I'm going to be incurring expenses in US dollars, but I'm going to have to. Right now, I've lost half of the value. So I totally get it. There's a need for some people to withdraw and withdraw their Cedis, convert to dollars, right? So that's a disclaimer. But however, I think Sarah and I earlier, we explained you can look at it on the economic side and there's the philosophical side. The economic side, look, FX rates, it is economics, supply and demand. The more people demand dollar, the higher the value will go up. And it's a zero-sum game. When dollar goes up, CD comes down. It is purely economic. Sentiments also matter to economics, because guess what? They are speculators. And when speculators know that majority of Ghanaians, whether it's business or it's retail, we know that they want to buy dollar. Those speculators are sitting in Liechtenstein, in Dubai. They are sitting wherever in the world. They just have a terminal, and then they'll be betting against the city. They'll be buying more dollar, because they know that collectively, on the average, the Ghanaian wants to buy dollar also. So they are going to feed on these our fears to make our situation even worse. I quite recall June 2018, similar thing happened in the market. The stock exchange was making a killing, 43% in one quarter. Charlie, my clients were happy with me. Then, as some of the foreigners who made profits were taking their monies out and then selling the bonds, to reap some of their profits, then speculators also just jumped in. And you could see that around that time, June 2018, most of the Cedis depreciation around that time was driven by just speculators. So let's not play down the impact of us thinking about dollarizing our economy. Okay, having that mentality will fuel some people to go against us, and they'll just play the economics against us. Now, to speak a little about the sentimental or philosophical part of it, again, my personal opinion, not expecting anyone to follow it, but then I have a question, right? There's Mimi says Ghanaians, we don't talk, we talk down the things that go on in Ghana and make it look so bad. I may be guilty of this, all right, because I have certain perceptions about the average Ghanaian. I know there are people who are well above the average, there are people who are well below, but general average, right? But when we have the average Ghanaian thinking this way, that, well, I'm waiting for the government to fix the problem, until then I'll also be doing something that is wrong, or I'll also be seeking my own self-interest. It's fine, you could seek your own self-interest, and in this case, buy dollar because, look, you need to sort yourself out, and that's all good and well. But it doesn't change the fact that in the grand scheme of things, it is harming the economy. It is pure economics, right? Also, blowing it up beyond this particular topic, on the topic of the general philosophy of the average Ghanaian, that waiting for other people to fix your problem, and that if other people don't act, you will also be acting in the bad way. Really, where do you come from to be on the high horse to be complaining about the problems of Ghana? Let's all just keep calm, relax, and let's all wallow in the problems of Ghana, knowing that we as individuals are not ready to fix it, as well as the government is not ready to fix it. So let's just be comfortable with it. But if we as individuals are really going to be acting in ways that are going to harm things, then we might as well just accept our fate while we are at it. But then again, this is my personal opinion, and I strongly encourage people to disagree with it, because I know there are cases against it. But yeah, let's see. We've been trying to get Tough Guy back. Let me bring him up so that he can complete his thoughts. I really want to ensure that he's heard, so that it's not like it's a dissenting view. Tough Guy, are you here? Can you hear me? Tough Guy, can you hear? Okay, all right. And sorry, just before you say, so we have reached the hour-and-a-half mark, so we'll start wrapping up. So hey, if you want to jump in on the conversation, now would be a good time. Otherwise, we start wrapping up the conversation. So Tough Guy, go ahead.
Okay, so I think I reached a point where I was saying I feel leadership is trying to make us feel like we are the cause of what is happening. But when I rejoined, I heard you saying something like, which, I mean, I had a perception that like I'm trying to push a conspiracy theory, like there's a grand scheme by leadership to make us blame ourselves. Am I right? You were saying something like that.
No, I'm not. I didn't say you were pushing. I was saying that the way as you were talking, and then on a certain line of thinking, your internet went bad. Jennifer also came aligned with you, and then her internet went bad. Now I'm starting to see what you see here, that okay, then there must be some kind of conspiracy. But yeah, it was more of a joke. But on this particular point, I just want to say, we as individuals of no backing, no other person backing us, brought up this conversation so that we can discuss it holistically without necessarily concluding on one side or the other. So this was not motivated by any government thing, just to put it out there.
No.
All right.
I appreciate it, Mike.
Okay.
So my point basically was, I mean, I heard Jennifer to confirming the fact that retail impact is not close to corporate and institutional. When it comes to the dollar Cedi, behaviors. My point basically is that the normal Ghanaian, I mean the average Ghanaian, I don't have the numbers, but I can bet that less than 10% of Ghanaians can afford 5,000 cedis worth of dollar. Trust me, majority of us are even illiterate. Majority of Ghanaians, only a few people are even banked in this country. They have no idea what the dollar is. So, and I mean, we as citizens can say that, I mean, we can solve the problem, but from where I sit, everything has to do with leadership. Look, this country is such that when citizens take action to do something, leadership frustrates them. And when I say leadership, it doesn't matter who is in government. That's what happens. When individuals have taken steps to make things happen in this country, leadership frustrates them. It won't happen. You just let even all Ghanaians say they will not buy dollar. Indian companies will continue buying, they'll continue pushing dollar out of the country. Foreign companies will continue pushing dollar. Does a normal Ghanaian, ordinary Ghanaian have power to stop them? It's leadership. Hotels charge in dollar. Do I have the power to stop them? It's leadership. Who patronizes those hotels? If not the foreigners, it's government officials. So for me, from where I sit, there's only so much the ordinary Ghanaian can do. Look, I remember when COVID was around, there was a Ghanaian who said he had secured free vaccines from a foreign NGO, and he was pushing the Ministry of Health to help him bring those vaccines in. It never worked. Government never backed him. Eventually, government spent money to go and buy those vaccines. That's how the system is. It's all about leadership from where I sit. We talk as citizens that we should stop buying dollar, we should stop doing this. Government has the power to say that, okay, this year nobody should import toothpick. But they are not doing it. Hotels shouldn't, insurance companies shouldn't charge premium in dollar. It's, for me, from where I sit, everything is leadership. We can only talk. But at this stage of our country, maybe places like USA, citizens have a lot of power, but not in a place like Ghana. So basically, that's just my point.
Thank you, tough guy. Interesting points. It's all down to leadership. Leadership has the power to lay down certain rules that can make things better. That's interesting. All right, thank you for sharing that. Adam, how about you? You've gone quiet for a bit, and then we'll probably just hear Prince's side and points on either side, and then we conclude. Hi, Adam. Can you hear me? Okay. While we wait for Adam, Prince, I know you are just joining us this late, but you are in the industry. You may have an opinion on this matter, and I think you saw that we shared something prior to this discussion. So, what do you think? Hi, Prince.
Good evening and good evening to everybody on the call. My situation is quite not convenient to talk much, so please permit me to take a pass on this one. I'll come up with my thoughts later on when I'm right.
Okay, sure. You are excused. Although we are at the tail end, but yeah, you are excused. Okay, all right. I think Adam also lost connection. So then I guess I'll just leave it to Mimi. Mimi, do you have any final thoughts? Not concluding, of course. We are not giving any advice. Just exposing the facts for everyone to know, to have sufficient information to make a decision. So maybe any thoughts that you may not have mentioned already, or comments on something that has already been said?
No, I think that it's been well covered. Yeah.
Well covered. Okay, we've beaten the matter well. It's crying. Okay, that's great. All right, I think I'm getting Adam back. All right. Well, until then, I guess we could just start wrapping it up. Thank you all so much for the conversation, for spending your time to discuss, especially to Black Ninja and to Tough Guy for joining in on the conversation and sharing your opinions. We welcomed the diverse opinions, and we really appreciate that you were open enough to share these, your frustrations. To everyone, as you are thinking through this, you have a decision to make, or maybe not, but a lot of people are considering converting their cedis to dollars. before you make any decision, consider all the facts, consider all the things that you need to consider, and perhaps talk to a financial advisor who can consider your individual situation, because what may be good for Kofi may not be good for Amma. So you want to make sure that you are making a decision that would help you. All right. So in case you joined this conversation too late, the recording will still be available here on Twitter, so you can just go back and play it back to hear the points that were made for and against the motion. But Jenny hinted to me on the side that although the title is "Buying Dollar is Killing the Economy," the certain the way the responses on the against side came, they were more about what we as individuals are trying to do to stem the situation, thinking as individuals. So it's just something for you to think about. And at this juncture, I just call it a night. Thank you so much for your time, and catch you again next week, right? Next week, Wednesday, 6 p.m. GMT. I hope you do come back. Have a good night and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to our thoughts. I hope you learned a thing or two and start practicing. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Clubhouse, and Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube and podcast. Do tell a friend about Money Convos so we all become wealthy together. Talk to you soon. Bye.